Welcome to story time. We are reading a book today. And when we read a book, we hold it like this. No, that's not quite right. Like this. No, that's not right either. Maybe it's like this, and we open it this way. No. Oh, okay. I think I have it figured out now. We hold our book this way. So the words are readable, and when we open a book, it opens on this side. It goes this way. When we read stories, we start with the first word and we move this way. We move across to the right. When we finish a line, we go back to the beginning on the next line down, all the way across, and all the way across. Maybe when you're reading stories with your learning coach this week, you can follow along with your finger as they read to you. And when it's your turn to read, you can show them that you know the right direction to read. Today's story is called A Porcupine Named Fluffy by Helen Lester. That's the author. Illustrated by Lynn Messinger. Let's read. As we read, today we're finding characters. That's the people, the animals in a story. And in some stories, like Toy Story, the characters aren't people or animals. The characters are toys. Isn't that funny? Let's read. A Porcupine Named Fluffy. When Mr. and Mrs. Porcupine... It didn't take long. We just found some characters. Let's write those down. We had Mr. Porcupine. Mr. Porcupine. I'm just going to put a P to make it fast. And Mrs. Porcupine. Okay, so we have Mr. Porcupine, Mrs. Porcupine. 2 characters so far. So, lost my spot. When Mr. and Mrs. Porcupine had their first child, they were delighted. Now he needed a name. So now there's another character, but we don't know his name yet. It's this porcupine, this baby porcupine. So let's find out what his name is before we write it down. Should they call him Spike? No, Spike was too common. Should they call him Lance? No, Lance sounded too fierce. Should they call him Needle Rooser? No, Needle Rooser was too long. Prickles? Pokey? Quillian? Then together they had an idea. Let's call him Fluffy. It's such a pretty name, Fluffy. This is Fluffy. He has a name now, so I can write his name on this character list. Fluffy. We have 3 characters now. 1, 2, 3. Does Fluffy like his name? I can't quite tell. He doesn't look happy. But soon there came a time when Fluffy began to doubt that he was Fluffy. He first became suspicious when he backed into a door and stuck fast. That was not a Fluffy thing to do. He was even more convinced when he accidentally slept on his back and poked holes in the mattress. A very unfluffy thing to do. He tried to carry an umbrella. He knew the truth without a doubt. Fluffy definitely wasn't. Fluffy isn't fluffy. So he decided to become fluffier. Clouds are fluffy, he thought. I'll be a cloud. But he couldn't stay up. Whoop. I know, pillows are fluffy, he said. I'll be a pillow. But when his mother sat on him, she was not pleased. He tried soaking in bubble bath for 45 minutes, but he did not become fluffy. He became soggy. He tried whipped cream. He put a little on each quill. It was not easy, and it took more than half a day. But this did not make Fluffy fluffy. They should have named me Gooey, he sighed. He ate a lot of fluffy marshmallows. He rolled in shaving cream and feathers. He even tried to become a bunny. But the truth remained. Fluffy wasn't. One afternoon, Fluffy set out for a walk, trying to think of ways to become fluffy. Before long, he met a very large rhinoceros. Another character! So we have 3 characters and then 1 more. So 3 plus 1 more. 4 characters. 4 characters in this story. I don't know what the rhinoceros's name is yet, though. So let's wait. We'll write his name down when we find out. Grrr, said the rhinoceros. I'm going to give you a rough time. Fluffy didn't know what a rough time was, but he didn't like the sound of it at all. What is your name, small prickly thing? Said the rhinoceros unkindly. Fluffy, said Fluffy. The rhinoceros smiled. He giggled. Then he laughed out loud. He rolled on the ground. He jiggled and slapped his knees. He roared with laughter. A porcupine named Fluffy, howled the rhinoceros. Fluffy was embarrassed, but he tried to be polite. And what is your name? He inquired. I can't say it, giggled the rhinoceros. Hubert, suggested Fluffy. Oh, help! I just can't say it. I'm laughing so hard, said the rhinoceros. Harold? Or maybe Herman? Asked Fluffy. No, gasped the rhinoceros. It's Hippo! Hippo? A rhinoceros named Hippo? Fluffy smiled. He giggled. Then he laughed out loud. He jiggled and slapped his knees. He howled with laughter. A rhinoceros named Hippo! Fluffy cried. A porcupine named Fluffy. A rhinoceros named Hippo. It was almost more than they could bear. Hippo and Fluffy rolled on the ground giggling and laughing until tears came to their eyes. At last they lay exhausted on the ground. From that time on, they were the best of friends. And Fluffy didn't mind being fluffy anymore, even though he wasn't. The end. Okay, that last character, that rhinoceros, what was his name? Hippo. What a funny name for a rhinoceros. Hippo. So we had 4 characters in our book. Mr. Porcupine, Mrs. Porcupine, Fluffy, and Hippo. Oh, I love that story. I think it is so funny. Well, I want to talk about which character do you think was the main character? Which character was the story mostly about? Was it mostly about Mr. Porcupine, Mrs. Porcupine, Fluffy, or Hippo? You've got it. It is Fluffy. The story is mostly about Fluffy. He is the main character of our story. I hope you enjoyed A Porcupine Named Fluffy, and I will see you again another time. Bye!